إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. In the name of Allah, most beneficent, most merciful. Good morning and welcome to the University of Exeter, the Center of Creativity, Sustainability and Educational Futures, CES, Graduate School of Education and the University of Regina Faculty of Education joint seminar. Before we start, on behalf of Deborah Osberg, Fran Martin and myself, I would like to thank our sponsors, the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council, or SHERC, Vice President's Discretionary Research Fund at the University of Regina, the University of Exeter Link Fund, the University of Regina Faculty of Education, and the University of Exeter Directors of Research Discretionary Fund. I would also like to warmly welcome all our delegates and those who have come from far and wide to support this event. In particular, I would like to thank the keynote speakers for their generosity of spirit, support, and sharing. Heartfelt thanks. As you've all been informed, this is a grassroots movement that we hope will lead to an international collaborative research project that aims to redress the injustices of the perpetuation of the colonial project in all areas of education. We hope that many of you will want to join us in this endeavor. In this opening address, I would like to say a little bit about why we have convened. In keeping with critical race theory, the privileges stories of the other, I would like to start with my story. My name is Fatma Khan Shamsuddin Purified Sundaji Sanji Nabda Kuji Gorbai Sanji. But you may call me Fatima. I was born in Tanganyika whilst it was still under the British protectorate to African parents of Southeast Asian descent. My mother's family is from the island of Zanzibar, whilst my father's family is from Tanzania, which is part of the mainland in East Africa. Both sides of my family have had the experience of living under colonial rule. I was educated in Tanzania and Kenya before my family and I immigrated to Turtle Island, or Canada, in the 1970s, and completed the rest of my formal education in Canada and the United Kingdom. I have worked in tertiary level education for over 20 years and have lived and worked in teacher education in many parts of the world, including Australia, New Zealand, Tajikistan, China, Singapore, and Saudi Arabia. At this present time, I'm an associate professor at the University of Regina in Saskatchewan, which is, in case you don't know, in the Midwestern part of Canada. My home and workplace are situated on the ancestral lands of the First Nations people, and in particular the Treaty 4 people. As an immigrant settler to Turtle Island, Canada, I acknowledge First Nations people as the traditional custodians of that land and extend my respect and gratitude to the descendants of that land. As a racialized, minoritized, marginalized, and visible scholar of color, I tend to work with and alongside those who have been categorized into similar group memberships. 9 years ago, I started working on a language and literacy project that investigated culturally responsive pedagogies. And a few years ago, I found with a few other scholars, many of whom have contributed to the book we are launching later today, that relationality was key to engaging minoritized and marginalized young adolescents in education. During my sabbatical in 2012-2013, I found other scholars, such as Associate Professor Miri Berryman at the University of Waikato, New Zealand, and Dr. Fran Martin at the University of Exeter, who were also working with relationality. We were each working in a silo, not connecting, and were able to create a critical mass of scholars who could make a difference on a larger scale. This idea of an international collaborative research project started to germinate 2 years ago. As an international associate member of the CENS group, together with Dr. Fran Martin, we put the proposal forward to the group, and here we are today. So my partners in crime are Dr. Fran Martin and Dr. Deborah Osberg. I would like to tell you a little bit about them. Fran is a twin, a farmer's daughter, born and raised in the southeast of England. Her formal education was almost entirely in fee-paying independent schools. She has 7 brothers and sisters, and numerous nieces and nephews. And I know I'm staying with her right now, they keep popping in and out. Great nieces and great nephews. Her maternal grandmother was born in India and moved with family back to the UK when she was 3 years old. She has relatives in Australia and New Zealand and strong family connections with Canada, Scotland, and South Africa. Fran has come to recognize that these are not accidental global connections, but are rooted in the history of British imperialism and the subsequent formation of the Commonwealth nations. Fran recognizes that she's complicit in the ongoing project of global colonization through her birth into white European society, through her white British national identity, and through the privileges systematically afforded to people of her race. Deborah was born into a white family in apartheid South Africa, where she lived for the first 40 years of her life. During this time, she qualified as a research biologist and started a research career in zoology, which inevitably led her to taking up academic positions teaching zoology at universities in South Africa during the apartheid era. Her first academic position, which she held for 6 years, happened to be in a small university that catered to an educational disadvantaged black community in the rural north of the country. This experience profoundly shaped her academic career. As a member of the dominant white minority culture, teaching zoology to the underprivileged black majority, Deborah could not avoid becoming acutely disturbed by education inequities of the apartheid legacy of her country, and her research focus soon turned away from zoology and towards an attempt to redress these inequities through her teaching approach. Her success in this regard, just before the fall of apartheid in 1994, landed her a job in one of South Africa's then most elite universities at a time when these institutions were attempting to modify their student demographic so as to appear more representative of the population mix. Her role in this job, as she interpreted it then, was to help underprivileged black students become more like white students so that they could succeed in life. This lasted 9 years, during which time the hypocrisy of her role slowly began to impinge on her consciousness. At age 40, in a typical midlife crisis, it all reached a head and she attempted to give up on academia, which she by then considered to be fraught with problems of colonizing power, which she had no idea how to redress. Although ready to give up, she was at this precise moment offered an alternative, a PhD studentship in England to research the very issues in education that had alienated her from her prior belief in education as a means to equality. Since then, she has been researching and writing about issues of power and inequality in education, using her biological background to develop an emergentist theoretical frame, and has recently joined forces with Fran and myself to look at issues of colonization in education contexts. So, that was a bit long-winded, wasn't it? Now on to seminar proper. At this seminar, we would like to start a conversation on how teacher educators might ameliorate the epistemic and ontological violence inflicted by hegemonic educational systems on pupils and students across all phases of education and across countries where there is a legacy of colonialism. In 2011, Grosfoguel wrote that the current world system is colonial. He shows how it is a totalizing system that has affected every aspect of society. Classrooms are one of the spaces in which what Ngugi wa Thiong'o describes as the colonizing of the mind occurs, leading to relations that are modeled in the image of the dominant group. Indigenous studies and research on minoritized students bring much needed perspectives to our understanding of the pervasive violences that were perpetuated, not least the ontological and epistemic violences that were perpetrated and which continue to be felt as collective trauma today. Nothing short of radical change is needed, change that works at macro and micro levels, from policies to practices and whole systems to classroom relationships. This change is a transformative process of decolonization, a decolonization of minds, and by default, a decolonization of the colonial world system. In 2009, Dascal stated, decolonization, if it is to be successful as a reaction against such a deep, powerful, and long-lasting colonization of the mind, cannot but be itself as radical as its opponent. It must therefore eradicate not only its surface manifestations and the concomitant colonial system, but its epistemic roots as well. For us, this means confronting whiteness and white privilege, turning the gaze 180 degrees towards those who assumed normalcy and neutrality supports their narratives of doing good, whilst hiding from themselves their complicities in ontological and epistemological violences. In proposing this shift, we are cognizant of the dangers of white educators who reflect on their own whiteness, may center the analysis on themselves, and make the object of whiteness studies, the oppressive nature of white supremacy, more about the subjectivity of white people. We agree that this is a very real danger if the decolonizing project is taken on by only white educators, or only people of color, or only indigenous peoples. If the metaphor of a war is used, then the places of war are situated in the mind. That's the battleground. While the spaces in which the fighting is done are the third spaces between cultures with the tools, the weapons, of intercultural communication and dialogue. In addition, since different knowledge practices take on different spatial scales and according to different durations and rhythms, intersubjectivity between different knowledge systems entails also the disposition to know and act in different scales, so intersclerality, and articulate different durations. And this is from Susa Santos. As critical educators, we agree with Vanessa Andriotti and Kerr when they called for alternative approaches informed by the philosophy of liberation, in which, when applied to education contexts, teachers and teacher educators become aware of and explicitly acknowledge what Mignolo refers to as the loci of their enunciation, and use this as a starting point for being and doing otherwise. For us, this deep attention to the subjectivity of self requires a decolonizing pedagogy, in which teachers and learners come into dialogue over differences. In this, we're thinking of the concept of third space to the intercultural space, where education settings should be perceived as spaces of critical relationality, where teachers and students collaborate and engage with each other, where we have an orientation of being with, where binary lines of teacher-student are blurred and roles reinscribed. This is potentially a non-othering pedagogy for social justice. It is inclusive in that all are included in a joint venture, an education for all. Centering narratives of the marginalized, minoritized, indigenous, and people of color is essential to the initial process of consciousness raising among white mainstream populations. This requires critical interculturality. Throughout my experiences, I have learned about the importance of attentiveness, of being ready to listen. I would venture that there should be attentiveness in programs of teacher education to some potential ways to help teacher candidates to get ready to listen to perspectives that may be difficult for them. I do not think it is possible to avoid resistance in this endeavor, and there are many benefits in bringing the likelihood of resistance out in a transparent way. Gert Fiesta argues that resistance is a potentially generative feeling that emerges from our encounters with the material discursive world, and it is how we work with resistance that determines its generativity. So over the next 2 days, we're inviting you to be attentive to what people are saying, how they are saying it, who is saying it, why you think they are saying it, and how you are relating to the content based on who you are. The same attentiveness applies to what you say, how you are saying it, and who you are saying it to. For those of you who have agreed to take part in the pilot research we're conducting over the 2 days, the concept of attentiveness may help inform your responses. On behalf of Deborah Osberg and Sam Martin and myself, we thank you very much for your support and attention, and we wish you a couple of productive and thoughtful days. Thank you. Thank you. Now on to really important matters. Sam Martin. Okay, thank you. I need to read out to you the information about where the conveniences are, what to do in case of a fire, and things like that. It's really lovely to see you all. So first of all, toilets. The men's and accessible toilets are situated on the ground floor, where we are. These are out of the door there, turn right, and just along past the reception desk. The toilets are situated on the right-hand side of that corridor. The ladies' toilets are situated on the first floor. And you take the main staircase in the reception area where you came in and turn left at the top of the stairs. First aid. We have they do, have first aid aiders in the team. And if anybody should need first aid, please see a member of staff. I would suggest that the reception desk as you come in would be the place to do that. Fire alarms. The fire alarm test is on a Thursday morning, so we're okay. However, that does mean if the alarm sounds, then that is a real emergency. It is not a test, and you would need to vacate the building. The fire assembly point is to the right of the building at the bottom of the drive. I'm not quite sure which doors we go out though. It doesn't tell us that. It's over there, is it? Oh, there we go, fire exits. The green things show us where the fire exits are. So then, we are spread across 3 rooms on this ground floor. This room is the Woodbridge room, where most of the activities are going to take place. And then when we get to the seminars or the workshops, one of the workshops each time will be in this room. It's marked on your programme as Woodbridge. And then if your programme says Margaret Hewitt for a workshop or Ibrahim for another of the workshops, those 2 rooms are out into the reception area, turn left, and they're just at the end of that reception space beyond the stairs.